Sky Bet EFL, 5 things to look out for this weekend. We cast our eye over 5 things to look out for in the Sky Bet Championship, League One and League Two this weekend. Watch and vote for your favorite January goals in the Sky Bet Championship, League One and League Two here. 2 relegated sides meet in the Potteries on Saturday evening, and while both were among the pre-season favorites for promotion, only one are still realistically in the battle to go up. Brom may have suffered a setback against Middlesbrough last weekend, but they still sit 4th in the table, while Stoke are down in 15th, having lost 3 of their first 4 league games under Nathan Jones. The Welshman replaced Gary Rowett last month, and the former boss admitted that the job of getting the club back on course was far bigger than he anticipated. Gary Rowett joins David Prutton in this week's EFL Matters. "I think the aim was realistic in the summer, but as soon as some of those challenges came to the surface it was always going to be difficult to get into the top 2, Rowett told EFL Matters on Thursday. "I still believe we would have had an excellent opportunity of making the playoffs, but I'm going to say that because I'm a positive manager." Jones is feeling the impact of some of those challenges as well ahead of the visit of Brom, which is live on Sky Sports Football. Defeat could leave them as much as 12 points off the top 6, and with that the challenge would surely be over. February 9, 2019, 5:15 p.m. Live on Leeds had lost 6 games in the Sky Bet Championship before last week, but never had they been so thoroughly outplayed as they were in their 7th defeat against Norwich. Daniel Farke's side were head and shoulders above Elland Road, and questions are starting to be asked of Marcelo Bielsa for the first time after a run of 4 defeats in their last 6 games. Check out all the latest odds from Sky Bet ahead of the weekend action here. Middlesbrough at the Riverside is the next test for Leeds, and while Tony Pulis' side are not going to play them off the park, they will present a very different type of challenge. Borough are unbeaten in 5 league games and, despite an FA Cup disappointment at Newport in midweek, look back on course to challenge for promotion. Their victory at Brom last week also saw them score 3 goals for the first time since their 2nd game of the season in August. Pulis and CO will fancy their chances of rattling Bielsa's side and claiming a victory in an early 1 p.m. kickoff that would tighten up the race for the Premier League even further. All the calls for Thomas Frank to go have disappeared now, and Brentford look right back on track. Unfortunately, however, it seems as though they have left it too late to push for promotion. 3 wins on the spin and 7 games unbeaten have only managed to haul Brentford as high as 17th, which goes to show just how bad their form was in October, November and December. The Bees were at one point among the favourites for a promotion, but now they head to Nottingham Forest on Saturday with 10 points and 11 places between themselves and the top 6. It would require a miraculous run between now and the end of the season to eliminate that gap. Ollie Watkins, Neil Maupay and Said Benrahma, among others, all appear to be in top form again, and if they continue to play the way they are, they will only attract further suitors between now and the summer. Brentford have rebuilt before and they will do again. But it feels like this season could be another opportunity missed with the talents they have at their disposal. Aston Villa vs Sheffield United, Fri 7:45 p.m. Middlesbrough vs Leeds, Sat 1 p.m. Blackburn vs Bristol City, Bolton vs Preston, Derby vs Hull, Nottingham Forest vs Brentford, QPR vs Birmingham, Rotherham vs Wigan, Sheffield Wednesday vs Reading, Swansea vs Millwall, Stoke vs West Brom, Sat 5:30 p.m. Norwich vs Ipswich, Sun 12 p.m. Portsmouth were top of the table and flying high for nearly 4 months of the season, which has left their recent run of form looking somewhat alarming. After some early season jostling with Peterborough, Portsmouth permanently took the lead in Sky Bet League One on September 28 and held it until January 26, when their FA Cup involvement gave Luton the opportunity to overhaul them. Now it is the Hatters who appear unstoppable, while Portsmouth have dropped out of the top 2 altogether after a run of 3 defeats and a draw in their last 4 games. In fact, 5 of their 6 defeats all season have come in their last 10 games. Barnsley have also jumped above them, and Sunderland are just 2 points below with 2 games in hand. Kenny Jackett's side thumped Plymouth at Fratton Park earlier in the season, but a trip to Argyle looks a far different proposition than it did a few weeks ago. Plymouth have won 5 of their last 6 and will present a stern challenge at home park. Another defeat for Pompey could see the wheels come off their promotion charge altogether. AFC Wimbledon vs Burton, Blackpool vs Walsall, Bradford vs Fleetwood, Bristol Rovers vs Shrewsbury, Charlton vs Southend, Doncaster vs Peterborough, Gillingham vs Barnsley, Luton vs Wycombe, Oxford vs Sunderland, Plymouth vs Portsmouth, Rochdale vs Coventry, Scunthorpe vs Accrington. Getting boyhood fans to take over at clubs is very much in vogue in the EFL right now. The success of Chris Wilder at Sheffield United has seen Aston Villa try to replicate the formula with Dean Smith, and now, further down, we have John Iskey at Port Vale. The boy from Stoke-on-Trent is the son of Colin Iskey, who made more than 200 appearances for the club in the 1950s and is considered a legend in those parts. Now Iskey, who will want to recover quickly from his disappointing spell at Shrewsbury, gets the chance to continue the dynasty and steer the club away from relegation danger. They are 6 points above the drop zone in Sky Bet League Two heading into their clash at Cambridge, who are a point and a place below them, on Saturday. It's been said before, it's a dream job for me to come here and hopefully I can help the team progress, he said following his appointment. With my dad playing, he had a successful time here. There's quite a few pictures around that I've seen before or they're hung up on my wall, so it's nice to have that feeling of coming home. Being at Macclesfield, it was like a home from home really, then going to Shrewsbury, it was completely different. So coming here, it's nice to get that feeling back and I'm doing it for the right reasons. I want the club to do well. Cambridge vs Port Vale, Carlisle vs Exeter, Colchester vs Cheltenham, Crawley vs Oldham, Forest Green vs Notts County, Lincoln vs Northampton, Macclesfield vs Crewe, MK Dons vs Swindon, Morecambe vs Bury, Newport vs Mansfield, Tranmere vs Stevenage, Yeovil vs Grimsby. Jeff gave away £1 million on Saturday. And are your predictions for Wednesday's round here?